Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to another episode of Cryptic Crypto, the channel that tries to give you daily updates on the crypto market. Please like and subscribe, and remember to hit the bell button so you get updated all the time whenever I release a video. So let's kick it off. Look, I really wish my video yesterday I had done a little later on, where it was like a sea of red, and all you could see online were people going like, the market's over, what's happening to XRP, what's happening to all these coins, we're screwed, it's over, it's awful, it's never going to come up again. Now, I thought it was the perfect time to trade, if I'm honest. If I go over, and one thing I wanted to highlight is, like, if you can follow my trades and look at the things, like, look, I posted this earlier, I love red days, trader's dream, end of message. 7 hours ago, hit my XRP target. I entered at $2.99. It was at $3.17. Don't know where we're at right now. But again, when it's a red day, it's a perfect time for a setup. Obviously, you want to do a bit of chart work, have a look, and do your own research in terms of where you think it is. I entered a number of new trades because and yesterday my spot bag, $21,000 less in less than an hour. Crazy, right? How quickly the market can change. But that's why we love it. All this bullish news and move to the downside. Looking forward to doing a vid soon, and I generally was, because I'm like crazy. Like before that, I was like, XRP hit $3, missed an entry by 1 cent. Absolutely crazy. These are all the trades that I've had open. Some I've closed down in profit when I saw it was moving to the downside, because I wanted to get a better entry or load up on a few things, and that's what I'm going to run through right now. So without further ado, XRP, cool. When I saw it was breaking down to the downside, I took profits, stopped my trade, came all the way down, down to, further than I thought, to be fair, $2.95, and we've had a nice little bounce down. And you can see, look, I put this here for an alarm, because this is where I viewed it as support. I did have, obviously, some other support here, and we've moved up to the upsides. Now, I'm not saying that's always going to happen. I've entered trades where I've believed it's been support, and I believe we're going to push to the upside, and been in losses, but it's all around looking at your setups and your risk reward scheme. Now, some of you that look at XCN, before my arrow was pointing up, because obviously I was hoping we're going to push up and then push above this line here. But when we do break down, we look at, like, okay, where's the support? Where are we hitting? What are the targets? And again, I do not future trade with really low cap coins, because they're just far too volatile. This does not mean that XCN is going to zero. What it does mean is, we need to retest this, look at what the charts do in the future, and then look at those trades. I've kept my spot bag throughout this process, and I'm perfectly happy keeping it again. I've still got a number of coins, obviously, staking. I took profits, if anyone watched my first videos, right at the beginning, and I've got a nice little moon bag ready to go, and I still obviously believe in this project. But again, would have been an easy trade, right, if you had opened along at this line of support, but we didn't know how low it was going to go, and I wasn't comfortable doing that. Whereas with XRP, I was fairly confident, and often we have these pushes to the downside, which you just kind of, if all it does is go up, the longs just pile up, everyone's making loads of money. Let's be honest, a lot of the market makers out there won't like that. And as soon as it started going down, loads of short plays started playing up, and I'm like, cool. I never short during a bull market, because yes, I believe this is a bull market, because I think the general market is going up. So why would I, increase my odds of losing money by betting against that? In a bear market, I might do some shorts, but in a bull market, I won't. I'm looking at, where can I enter these trades? Looking at Solana, where could I enter? And to be honest with you, this one was pretty poor trade. Where I actually entered around 185, I believe. Yeah, around about there. To be fair, I was looking at a new office for work and some other bits, so I entered the trade quite late, and you can see where my trade is here. Like, I put these targets in place. My exit target is up here around about $205, where I will be taking trades. We'll be taking profits, because it's a futures. I've got my spot bag, I've got all the rest of it, and Solana is looking really good. So You know, I exited the trade I had before to get a better entrance, which I've got. Not the best entrance, to be honest with you. I'm kind of mid-market here, and, you know, I would have rather have entered down here, but I might add more to my trade if it obviously goes up. Although, you know, being honest, the trades I'm showing on here, remember, I'm doing the $500 to $5,000. And if I look at, you know, some of these trades that I've opened, XRP opened at $2.99. That I'd set up already. It's now $3.24. Beautiful, 40% in the day, 60 quid, $60. Solana, I 10x'd. I put a bit more meaty margin because I've turned the $500 into just over 3,000. Yesterday it was a bit less. It's around about 2,200, 2,300 plus the spot bag, which you know, I've put some of my profits into spots because I believe the market's going up. So I'm hoping that'll be some dry powder that I can enter some trades later on. Obviously, from that perspective, you know, we're up 14%, but 138 because I've done a higher margin. Looking at CRV, I didn't close it. I just didn't. If I look at the CRV chart, oh, I closed it down. Oh, CRV. Look, for me, it is probably holding up the best out of all of them. We've literally been trading between, you know, $1.08, and we've come all the way down there to 90 cents. I've actually, if you look at my trade, I've got 89 cents as where I'll, you know, I'll take my profits. I've already got the stop. Hopefully it shows it here. Yeah, 89 cents. So I'm like, cool, if we go down to 89 cents, I've made loads of money on it. I'm 673% up on it. Happy days. And hopefully that'll give me a better opportunity to enter another trade if we do go down to the downside. But I can't believe how well CRV is holding up against the market. Looking at this, if you compare it with all of them, like obviously XRP had a huge drop, much bigger cap. Solana had a huge drop, much bit, well, not huge, but, you know, a big drop to the downside. You know, CRV did have a drop to the downside, but then we wicked straight back up again. And we've held this support. Yeah, we've wicked below it multiple times at 92 cents. And really, if we're honest, 90 cents is probably where support is. And we keep going up and down. And to be fair, you know, I'm hoping we're going to push through this and push back up to the upside. $1 sort of 20, $1.30 is kind of my next target for that, and I'll be very happy if we hit that. And again, good trade. Just didn't see the point in closing it. SUI, again, haven't closed this trade. I've got stop losses in place, but, you know, I'm 147% down. Now, if we look at the SUI chart here, we did come down to, you know, $3.49, $3. So pretty much where I entered the trade. But I felt that, like, cool, there's enough support here. I believed that we were going to push back up as soon as we hit it, and we did. We wicked down, and we've gone back up again. Again, kept that trader open. I'm hoping we're going to, you know, break $4.20 at some point in the future, but we do need more volume and, you know, better market activity from that perspective. But there's a lot of rhetoric, like companies are just buying crypto at the moment. Maybe not SUI, but there's a lot around ETFs, around Solana staking. Ethereum had a good push, and to be fair, like, I did close my Ethereum. I didn't have a lot of leverage on it, if I'm honest. Oh, wrong chart. Let's have a look. Is this one? Cool. I did, yeah. You know, I closed my trade in profit. I wanted to add more. Maybe it was a mistake. I put it into Solana, where I've got much higher leverage at the moment, but I believe that we should hopefully, because of the cost of coin and the leverage I've got, I'm hoping that we're going to push back to $105, which for me would be, you know, that would be all the investment back. I'd made over 100% gains, $1,000. I'll be back up to sort of, you know, the $4,000 mark, and only 1,000 off the 500 to 5,000. So, you know, the, what is it, the 10x challenge that I'm currently doing, and which I've only been doing for a couple of weeks now, and we're doing really well. Bitcoin dominance. I showed this the other day. Look, cool. I said, look, this looks like it could be support. We've come all the way down. We've bounced off. I've kind of put in this horizontal line as well, because to be honest with you, I'm kind of hoping that this is resistance and we could push down to the upside. But if not, and we break through and we print above it, go back up, you know, we could retest and come before we come back down. But, you know, like, to be honest with you, all the charts look bullish. Yesterday, my God, the Twitter, or can't say Twitter anymore, can we? X, you know, the amount of terrible stories. The market's dead. You know, what's this? Where's Marty Party? Not Marty Party. What's his name? He absolutely loves XRP. That's going to really irritate me. But anyway, he was literally like, "It's XRP's dead. You know what's happening? The whole market's crashing. It's never, you know, we're never going to go below $3 again." I was like, "Cool, sweet. Let's look at all this fear coming into the market. What does that leave for me as a trader? That leaves me an opportunity to enter the market." And as we can see for the day, the majority of stuff is up. Not huge amounts. You know, Clankers had a good push, CRV, obviously Ethereum. Again, I closed that trade in a profit, but not as much profit, so I'd probably left it open. But if we look across the board, you know, Solana's actually down a little bit, and I continued that trade, and no, I entered a new trade and opened more just because I'm very bullish on Solana. Bitcoin's even up a bit. XEN, which everyone, you know, gets so negative around, wherever XEN's gone. Where is XEN gone? Jesus, lost it. Anyway, XEN, like everyone gets, because it's, you know, some people are like, "Oh, it's a shit coin," or "You're XYZ, you're shilling it," etc. But I'm like, cool. Like, again, we were down here in June. We were down at 12 cents. Okay, cool. Not 12 cents, but, you know, 1 cent, whatever it is. We're at 1 cent 5. So we've had a bit of a push to the upside. Cool. It's important that we can retest resistance and turn it into support. If we break through resistance, we want to test it and then push to the upside. That's typically what happens on a day-to-day basis. Same with, you know, Bitcoin dominance. Same with like all these different pairs. If you went for XRP, BTC, we hit a bit of resistance, we come back down. That is normal, and that's something that as a trader you have to do your own research and think like, where do I believe the market's going? Again, this was yesterday. Tokenized treasury frenzy fizzles with stunning 800 million weekly drop. The latest figures show the tokenized US Treasuries market has lost 800 million over the past 7 days. This week it is down 10.5%. 10.5% is like fuck all, if we're honest. It's like, it's nothing. It's nothing in the crypto world. Like, you know, like we have, look, look at XEN drop all the way down. Look at XRP, you know, look at that horrible red candle. That was horrendous. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've had bearish engulfing candles, you know, consistently. We've traded down, we've wicked down, we've had negative sentiment. Now it's getting a lot more bullish, and we have to focus on what the positives are from that. Donald Trump is buying more Ethereum on the daily. Let's look at Ethereum and Bitcoin inflows. Ethereum ETF surge 332 million, Bitcoin bleeds 285 million. Now if we go on to the altcoin chart, alt season chart, sorry guys, and we look at this, we're like, oh, well, that's a crap one. This is one we want. We're like, oh no, we're at 45, horrendous, and we must be going all the way down. Doesn't necessarily look at that. Zoom out, guys. That's what I keep saying. If we zoom out, where are we at? Well, we're thoroughly in an alt season. We would be at 80, which is brilliant, right? But if we break it down and we look at the more of the shorter term in terms of alt season right now, yeah, cool. We've trended down. That's important. Like if it goes just straight up, generally look how quickly that came straight down. And alt seasons don't last that long. You just need to be thinking about where are your bags, what are your expectations, and, you know, focus on the long term, not the short term. All my trades are, you know, generally swing trades, and like the ones that I'm showing you on here, like obviously I have my own bags, which I'm doing more. You know, yesterday, you know, there's a $21,000 in the space of what, an hour or so it went down. I didn't panic. I looked at where are the opportunities, and the opportunities that I saw was XRP with a really nice entry, in my opinion. It could still go down, and I could be, you know, regretting this. Sol, not such a good trade in terms of where I entered it. You know, I'm only now, even since doing the video, you know, 10% up, $98. I could close that and wait for a better entry, but I'm quite comfortable with where we are there. CRV, lovely little entry. You know, even SUI, I added to it along. I've taken profits from both of these trades, and so that I've got more dry powder to push into it. If we look up here, I've only got $1.44, but if I went on my spot bag, which I bought through the profits of these trades to get to that $5,000, you'll see that I've got more dry powder to enter the markets, and that's what I want to do. And that's why I say I love red days. It's a trader's dream. It's where you can enter and make money. And that's all I wanted to say, guys. If you start panicking because we've had these little moves and start selling your bags, think about the long term and think about where you want it. Now, I've told you all at some point I will be selling it all, right? Well, I might keep a little boom bag here or there. But when we get into alt season and when we get to euphoria and when everyone is greedy as anything and believes that, you know, the market's never going to stop, that's when I'll sell. But that is not now. And you have to think about what your exit strategy, not just your entrance and not just panicking if the market's going down. Because, yeah, if we look at the last hour, right, pretty much everything's in the red. If we look at 24 hours, you know, there's a bit more in the green. Look at the 7 days, we're doing okay. Zoom out. Think about your trades, look at your entrances, and think about, like, cool, it's okay, like I said, to close trades, even if, like, you know, we haven't had a trade that's lost money so far, which is brilliant, but I'm sure we will, right? This Solana trade is risky. I've got a large proportion of the money that I've been trying to get to, obviously 5,000. I want to do it as soon as possible, so why not? To show you guys that it can be done if you trade effectively. But this is a risk. I've entered, if we look at it at Solana again, I've entered pretty much midway through this move. Well, not there, but, you know, here. So that is not the best entry in the world. You know, I should have really entered, you know, down here when we're at $1.78, which, you know, I kind of entered the trade late, to be fair, got late to the party, whereas the XRP one was executed very well. And those are the things. You can't always enter every trade perfectly. And yes, they look like they're in the loss, but that's just because I haven't taken profits yet, because I want to see where these trades get to and what the market sentiment is. That's it for me today, guys. Just a really quick one. I just wanted to give you my own thoughts and feelings and like where the market is. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on X. It does help get my message out there, and hopefully, you know, stop a few of you guys sort of panic selling, or thinking that it's all over when it's really not. We're just getting started. But yeah, appreciate your time. Have a good one. Peace.